fucking Carter Hart.
The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
All right, guys, we are back with another episode of the Morning Skate. This is episode 223. We're keeping it weekly. We're keeping it consistent. I love that for us. I'm your host, Ked. I'm joined by my co-host, Brownie. Brownie, what's going on, man? How was your week?
How are you, buddy?
I'm living the dream.
This is the last nice day in the Northeast that we're going to have for a week. And for those of us that need to get our exterior work done, we are fucked.
Why is a lot of rain?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a monsoon the next 3 or 4 days, easy.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, damn. Is it getting cold there? Because it's still hot as fuck down here.
Well, yeah, you're in Nashville, dude. You're next to the equator practically.
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
Getting a little cold. It's getting high 40s at night, you know.
Oh, I like that. That's
This
good.
is the best time of year, personally, except normally at this time of year, all my exterior work is wrapped up and I'm taking it easy. Right now, I'm run around like a crazy person every time the sun's out.
Yeah, you'll get it done though. And then that night you toss on a flannel, maybe have a bonfire, and just live the good life. Nice, comfortable pair of slippers. You need that clutch. But hockey's back, man. It's week 2. We've had some more games that have played. I think we kind of just got to jump right into it. So NHL in the news. We're gonna play the music now. All right, NHL in the news time. Stop me if you've heard us say Jack Eichel's name before, but it's back in the news, and no, he hasn't gone anywhere yet. Elliot Friedman came out and said, I think that sometime in the next week, 2 weeks max, the sense I'm getting is if there's not a trade or an agreement between the Sabres and Eichel on his medical path, I think you're going to see Eichel file a grievance to see if he can move things along. Pretty unheard of. He should have done this a while ago. I think he probably thought the Sabres weren't going to be such assholes about it, but I don't know. And the sooner he gets this done, the more likely he has a chance of playing the Olympics. Hopefully that were to happen. But it's nice to see Eichel's like, all right. And even if he files a grievance, that doesn't mean anything's going to happen, right? The NHL can still be like, tough luck.
Well, it comes down to, is the NHL going to back the player or the team? I would think that they're going to back the team, but
puts him in a tough situation, man.
Well, eventually public sentiment's got to be in Eichel's corner. I mean, he wants a surgery that they're not allowing him to get. And at some point, like, I don't know this. I'm not a medical expert, obviously, but is there a line in the sand where if he waits too long, he loses the option for the disc replacement and he has to get the fusion? I don't know if that's even possible. But if that's a real deadline, then I would think that Eichel is going to start to ramp up the pressure. I think that Friedman there, I think that was released this weekend, that report. But I mean, the guy's legacy is dying on the vine. The more this goes on, the more he's thought of as Jack Eichel, the injured player, versus Jack Eichel, the superstar.
Yeah, man.
It's a shift, you know?
Yeah, and one of the better players in the NHL. Like, it's, I think it's almost already kind of to that point where, like, years after Eichel retires, people will always kind of bring up, like, oh, hey, do you remember when him and the Sabres, like, really fucking going at it? Which, a tough look, but I don't know. I think I think the NFL's kind of put in a tough spot because they definitely want their players to know that they're backing them, but at the same time, the last things you want are the owners, like, hating you. So I think you're right. They'll probably choose owner. I think every major sports league does, but that's when, you know, CBA talks and, like, shit like that. When
what's amazing, though, is these owners are the same owners of the Buffalo Bills. And they have completely turned around the Buffalo Bills, whereas everybody's talking about them as a Super Bowl. And the Sabres is a laughingstock.
Yeah.
You know?
I hate to see it because Buffalo, passionate fans, man, they really are.
Chippewa,
I think I would like
rocks,
the Sabres.
Man.
I would like the Sabres. I don't like their announcer. I think he's overhyped as fuck. And I think if they had a different announcer, I think I would like the Sabres more.
The Sabres have the best goal song in the NHL.
What one's that? No, they're all doing their own now.
No, that's their own. But for the team goal song, dun, 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 dun,
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, let me clear my throat.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. That's much better than my rendition of it. But you picked up on it, so
no, yeah, you nailed it. And actually, while we're talking songs right now, do you want to redo a redo of what?
Yeah. So last episode, my goal song, just off the top of my head, I said Dennis Leary's "I'm an Asshole," and I've thought about it because I got some chirps from guys I play with. They were like, "That's really what you fucking picked, you dope," because your goal song's at home, not on the road. So I'm gonna go back to, in my opinion, the greatest Boston band of all, which is the one and only legendary Jay Giles band. And do you even know who Jay Giles is?
No idea.
Oh my good Lord.
We'll have to check him out. What is his, like, what rock or like what type of
band? Yeah. Like you probably know Centerfold is probably the song you know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Frame.
Yeah.
So way back when I was in high school, the wrestling team that I was on, we came out to House Party, which is a great song, and that would be my goal song. And actually I still will, like, if I talk about that song too much, I'll get goosebumps because I still remember in high school coming out through the double doors. I met the drummer of Jay Giles, and I went up to him, and at 40-something years old, I'm like, "Hey bud, I still listen to this song on my way to beer league," and he's like, "Great." But yeah, so that would be my song, "House Party" by Jay Giles.
We had two very different high school careers. My senior year, one of our captains, he had been on the team since he was a freshman. Everybody kind of left to like play juniors and shit. We went 3-14. We were awful. And he got to choose the music, and we would warm up to Fish. That's it was awful. I still can't fucking believe it. Like looking back at the shit,
you guys stretch for like 20 minutes listening to like jam
it
time?
was awful. This kid was skating around, probably stoned out of his mind, while we're all just like, what the fuck is going on here? And I look back, like, if I knowing what I know now, that wouldn't have happened. And like, I remember being so intimidated by my high school coach, and then it, like, afterwards just being like, why did I care?
Right.
You know what I mean? But those were the glory days.
Yeah.
Glad that we did that.
Appreciate you giving me that mulligan.
I got you. Katie Gay became the first female referee. She reffed in the AHL. I thought that was pretty cool. Just wanted to bring that up. Brownie, you put it down here on the list. I mean, historic moment.
Yeah, listen, as #GirlDad over here, I think it's great. That's why I like watching the NCAA women's, because my daughter gets to see girls play at a high level. I think it's fantastic. There's been, guys ref women and guys coach women, so why not women coaching guys, No,
I get that.
I think it's good. I think going back to like a personal level, the best sales boss I ever had was a woman. There were guys that I worked with, sales guys, that were like intimidated by it and get all pissy. And it's like, if you have an issue with a woman in charge, then I think that says more about the guy than the woman in charge. You know what I mean?
100%. And I don't know. I remember, like you said, #GirlDad. I think whenever I have kids, if I ever have kids, I always remember like the search for the first job, like what you're going to do. Refereeing, you can make a ton of money and you're still at the rink. So that's something that, like, obviously I'm not going to make them do that, but like that'll definitely be an option where it's like, oh, you want to be out around the rink and still get like your skating in, and then make $120 on the weekends, pay me $20 cash for gas money.
Yeah, man. That's it.
Figure it out. But, I thought that was cool. Shout out to her. Love to see it.
For sure. First of many, hopefully.
Next on the docket, the Jimmy Hayes news that came out. He passed away of a apparent overdose. His dad came out and like kind of explained everything, and he didn't want people to look at Jimmy in a negative light. He wanted people who, were struggling with stuff to. It's kind of like, if it happened to him, it can happen to you. Like, go get help. Like, people are there, people can listen. He didn't have to do that. And the amount of moxie and, dude, honestly, just toughness. And I think character, like, I can't even imagine as a dad, like, how brutal getting that news would be. But the fact that, like, you can kind of just, like, I don't know, like, he's way stronger than pretty much anybody I know. So shout out to the Hayes family for doing that. I know it's super tragic and you fucking hate to see it, but I liked how, they keep talking about Jimmy, how he was like, his nickname was Broadway. Like, you got to be cool if your nickname's Broadway. You know what I mean? And but at the same time, like, it's just tough, and they're just trying to help people out. So trying to turn just an absolute disaster of a situation and shine a little bit of light on something like that.
Yeah, we went back and forth off camera or off recording about whether to talk about it. And we were kind of like everything wasn't known. And now that it's been talked about more, we thought it was appropriate. I mean, hats off to Mr. Hayes, like you said. Like it's a tragic thing, and it's sad. You know, he's a pro athlete, a young guy. He's got 2 little kids, and it's horrible. But then to think about it when his dad talked, and to think about it from a parent's point of view, I was just gutted over this. And fentanyl is an absolute motherfucker. I mean, it is. I mean, I don't want to go into this whole big thing, but it's the opioid, big pharma pushing the opioids. You know, you get strung out on OxyContin, which is highly addictive. You can't get it anymore. Your prescription runs out, so you're getting street drugs. And this is what did in Tom Petty. This is what did in Prince. And it's a motherfucker to kick. And it's 2 milligram of fentanyl is a lethal dose, which is so small, and it's such a cheap filler, and that's why it's used to cut cocaine, and that's why it's used in pills, and it's horrible, horrible, and it's just a tragedy. But like Mr. Hayes said, hopefully, if it saves one person's life, then that's why he did it.
Yeah, so. And just the moxie and just toughness of him able to look at that situation, and just do what he's doing. So shout out to the Hayes family.
Yeah, for sure.
Rest in peace to Broadway.
Yeah. One last thing too.
Oh,
sorry. If you have 3 teams that you played for all doing tributes to you, that just shows you what kind of guy you are.
And like cool tributes too. Like not like, you know what I mean? I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah.
All right, so now into some kind of silly, goofy news.
Yeah, nice change of pace.
Yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens, I mean, they're still going at it. Kotkaniemi scored the other night against the Canadiens because of course he did. Like that's why we have sports for these moments don't happen outside of sports. Like I'm convinced. Like you ever hear about just like weird? Okay, so the first time I had played baseball since my dad passed away, I went to this one field. He brought me there growing up all the time, and I finally got to play in the big field. I was in like a 28+ winning baseball bat league. I hadn't played baseball in 10 years. So I get the chills, like even going there, and like an emotional day because I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to go to this field because I spent like my entire childhood there. First at bat, I work a 3-2 count and I hit a home run, and I hadn't played baseball in fucking 10 years in a wooden baseball bat league, and it was just one of those things. I thought I popped it up, and I looked up, and the thing just kept going, and I'm like, is this happening?
With the lift.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Because like that shit happens in sports all the fucking time. Where like if something is supposed to happen, it'll fucking happen, and obviously like this isn't the same as this, but at the same time, I wish I would have known that game was happening, because I would have bet him to score.
Yeah, like what? I mean, they like hammered down that Kotkaniemi was going to score his first goal against Montreal.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's poetry. But
and then all the other stuff too.
Yeah. So the other stuff, did the Habs just lose? I think you're a little bit more familiar with it. Did the Habs just lose than I am? So
the Hurricanes put up a website called thehabsjustlose.com, which was 2-pronged. One, if you remember during preseason, I think the CBA requires you to play 8 games. The Hurricanes only played 6, and Montreal ratted them out to the NHL.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, did the Canes just play 6 games?" So did the Habs just lose was kind of a jab back. But the website was a link to buy Aho or Kotkaniemi t-shirts for $20, which was the added signing bonus that they threw on the offer sheet because that's Aho's number, who Montreal tried to sign away previously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this pettiness has levels.
It really does. It makes you wonder that, like, if like the GMs were ever in a bar and they kind of looked at each other like, you want to just fucking step outside and get this done. Like, I think it's good fun, but
he would work the Carolina Hurricanes GM.
Dundon,
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna throw Brindamore versus Bergevin, then you might get that on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, Brindamore's just
everybody in their 2 tight suits fighting.
Yeah, just getting after it. You're right. I mean, was the game chippy at all? I know the GMs hate each other, but I want those players to hate each other, because that would make this even
the way
better.
This is going, the players have no. There's no doubt that they're gonna hate each other, because the amount of media that's gonna be in the Carolina Hurricanes room every time they play the Canadiens,
like it'd be kind of a weird rivalry out of nowhere. But if it ever turned
into fantastic.
Yeah, if it ever turned into like Tampa and Florida as it is right now, where you just like fights every 2 seconds, that'd be unreal.
The NHL needs more rivalries, more the better.
Yeah, and you know how they always talk about how guys put money up on the board before games, like
how much you think you had up?
Do you think the GMs go into the room and they're like,
"Oh, that would be something.
That'd get me going."
If there's a GM that does it, it would be Bergevin.
Can you imagine him walking in fucking red suit flow and he just puts like fucking 100K on the board and he's like, get it fucking done, and then just
someone said that Kakanyemi had 50 on the board, 50K.
No shit.
I wanted to like write about it, but I couldn't verify it.
That's unreal. You love to see it. Also, like, fuck off, Kakanyemi. Just throwing away 50 grand, man.
Yeah,
while I'm out here struggling every day, dude. Fuck.
That's like you and me putting up 200, you know?
Dude, I don't know, man. I wish I had that money where I could just be like, here you go. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
If only I trained and was somewhat athletic, you know. Speaking of the Lightning, we're gonna go to them. Nikita Kucherov's on the long-term injured reserve. Stop me if you've heard this one before.
This fucking guy.
You know what though? I guess they said this injury was a long-lasting injury, and it didn't. It looked weird enough where like it just didn't look good. So I actually do think he's hurt, but. And as much as it would be awesome for Eichel to go to Tampa just to see the world burn, I mean, you want to get him until when? Like, you want to get him for a long time. I don't know.
My fear is Kessel can go there right now and slide right into that spot.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you have on this? Foul play or no?
Well, I mean, it's not foul play. It's It's you know, if you're not cheating, you're not trying really, and it's not even cheating because the CBA leaves this loophole, and they didn't fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it was a short offseason. They really couldn't fix it. But, I mean, they're doing everything by the letter of the law. And I firmly believe in the hockey gods will even this out, and they will not win a Stanley Cup. Because fuck Tampa Bay into the middle of the sun, as far as I'm concerned. I fucking hate that franchise.
From your non-biased Bruins fan.
I fucking hate them.
The championship rings they got were pretty cool. I love seeing Patty Maroon walk around with 3 rings because, like, it wasn't that long ago I was watching him muck it up in the corners of the Glensville Civic Center, and now he's, like, one of the more popular players in the NHL. It's insane.
The rings were sick. I mean, I've never seen a flip-top ring like that.
No. And then the city of Tampa also had their fire truck painted.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool.
And they wrote Champa Bay on it. Like if they showed up at my house for a fire, I'd be like, let it burn, you fuck.
When I go home for Thanksgiving, I guess the Saratoga Police Department is playing the Saratoga Fire Department in a hockey game.
Oh, nice.
Like the Friday night after Thanksgiving or something. So I'm definitely going to go to that. That's
so everybody be all liquored up. Yeah.
You would hope. It'd probably get chippy. We'll see. That'd be kind of cool. One thing that we didn't write down on here that I just remembered, I want to say it now before I forget. Did you see Biz say horned up on TV?
Oh, yeah. I put it at the I think I put it on one of my blogs at the end of it.
Is that like
he also talked about when Barkley was in net, he first called it the hoop cam and then he called it the cornhole cam.
Dude, yeah. It's refreshing, I think. And NHL TNT, they embraced it. I think in their Twitter bio it says horned up for hockey or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's cool.
I will say I saw this today because of course he can't be anything but negative and he's got to keep his name out there. Mike Milbury had a critique, of course, for the great one. He said, and it was fair. Milbury was even-handed. He said that Bissonnette, because he pretends he doesn't know Biz, he goes, oh, that Bissonnette is pretty funny, and I hear he's got a podcast. He said something like that. So backhanded, it's awesome.
Hopefully they get him on.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, if Mike Milbury came on that podcast and was Mike Milbury and didn't sugarcoat anything, the stories that guy could tell would be insane.
Actually, you know what? I should reach out to him. I'll try to get him on this. He lives right up the road.
That'd be cool.
Towns, not like on the road.
Yeah.
And then he said about Gretzky, he's just got to loosen up a little bit, which is a fair thing.
It's
funny for Milbury he's never going to say anything's great, and
it's the Biz Gretzky dynamic is hilarious.
It's fantastic.
It's perfect. Like he said 20 seconds and Gretz was like, that's about the average time of your shift. Like it was nice seeing shit like that. And I always thought that Mike Milbury and Jeremy Roenick would forever be like my favorite, like in studio. Cause like they would borderline try to beat the shit out of him. I think Milbury slapped him one time.
Yeah. I think he did.
And he's like, no, he hit him like this and actually like hit him. But in a different way, this Gretz Biz team I think it's working.
But I do like the TNT. It's good vibes. Everybody, like Anson Carter's got a big smile. Tockett's like the angry guy, but he's still funny as hell.
Yeah.
That's his shtick. So I think it's great. Like
I think they're definitely blowing ESPN out of the water for sure.
Oh God, yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't get to watch the game. I just saw highlights, so I heard like the voices of the Kraken home opener, and they had Levy and Ray Ferraro on, and like that's a pretty power duo. I think Ray Ferraro's sick. I don't like him because he loves Canada and he's Canada this, Canada that, and so when it's like World Juniors or anything like that, I'm like fuck this guy. But like he's got a voice for hockey, man. Like
I have Ferraro actually further down in my notes. I have Ferraro.
Nah,
there's a teaser in the biz right there, buddy.
Here's one, the Tkachuk McAvoy thing.
Oh yeah.
So Brady Tkachuk, they asked him what his first big purchase was. He said a recliner. I kind of took a step back and I'm like, I wonder how much that recliner was. If that's
no, dude, purchase. You got to take it for like this is wholesome content. Brady Tkachuk, what'd you get with that big huge signing bonus? He goes, oh, I got a recliner because Dad and Matthew never let me sit in theirs. Is probably what it boils down to. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I just think it's like he's just a goober, man. He's a great. He seems like he's happy until his wires cross on the ice, like they did the other night. But
yeah, he fought Trouba.
Yeah,
which we'll get into in a little bit. But I love the way Brady Tkachuk plays, man. Yeah. Like I fucking wish he was on the Rangers. Then Charlie McAvoy said he bought his dog a bone.
Yeah, Otto. So shout out Otto, the little dog.
Cool dog name. I wonder if that's named after Otto from Rocket Power or Joel Otto.
Well, he grew up an Islanders fan, right?
No, a Rangers fan. You know this.
I know. I just trying.
Trying to get me going.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Otto's just a good dog name.
Yeah. No, I'm into it.
Like Bodie. Bodie's a good dog name.
Bodie is a good dog name. Actually, one of my good friends' dog's name is Bodie. Tarasenko attitude versus Ben Simmons. We don't really ever talk much about other sports, but Ben Simmons, if you guys aren't on like ESPN or Twitter, you want to know this, but he got asked to do something in a drill the other day, and he told his coach no, and his coach was like, just get the fuck out of here. It
was Coach Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is a heavyweight in the NBA.
Yeah, and he just signed a big ticket there, did he not?
Well, so I listen to some podcasts that cover all sports, and I had this written down because it's all about the one thing you can control is your attitude and your effort, right? The two things, right? Yep. And Ben Simmons' attitude sucks. And he's coming at this as like arguably one of the worst. And I'm not a basketball guy, and there's a kid who used to work for me who's going to be dying when he listens to this because I'd be like, what's the name of the team again? Like I don't know basketball. Yeah. But he's not a very good player on that team, and he came and asked for a trade, and then he went out and was like like doo-doo pants at practice. He had his phone on him. He wasn't even in gear and stuff. Whereas Tarasenko wants out and has said he wants out, and he's playing like his hair's on fire.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You want to move on. Don't make yourself into a negative asset. You got to make yourself into a positive asset, and then the team will maybe acquiesce to your demands, but they'll get something back for you. They're not going to get anything for Ben Simmons, so they're not going to trade him.
Yeah. No, and it's like embarrassing, dude. Like you're an adult, you're a professional athlete, and like you're pulling this shit.
Yeah, it's garbage.
And I would think every professional athlete wants to be the best, right? Like I don't think you ever and you have the drive to get you there. So like that's in you where you want to be the best. And like, do you ever think Michael Jordan would? I mean, did he do this? He might have done this. Did he? He went and played baseball. I don't think he ever fucking told his coach.
Well, isn't the whole truth of him going to play baseball is because his gambling debts were going to get broadcast to everybody, and they were quietly like, "Go play baseball. We won't suspend you."
Yeah, I don't know, but you're right. I think it's disappointing to see. Cody Eakin, the mullet, the Sabres are 3-0.
Oh my gosh, have you seen this guy's mullet?
It is red and it's here to party.
Hold on.
I'm not a big Cody Eakin guy just because he pulls up a picture.
I printed this out in case people watch on YouTube. Look at that.
So Cody,
ginger-haired mane from this guy.
Cody Eakin, he took a run at Henrik Lundqvist a couple years back, and then it was either that game or the next game. Chris Kreider took his helmet off and started beating him with it. So
really,
I've never been a Cody Eakin guy.
Neither have I. Just the mullet was something.
The hair makes me like him a lot more, and the hair also makes me wish he was on the Flames. Because could you fucking imagine him staying out with that?
Any team that had red as the base, like he'd be great on the Hurricanes too.
Yeah, I love the Flames jerseys, especially when they wear the whites. good looking barn. But yep, the Sabres are still trucking along. So we'll talk to you in a couple months from now when we're like, okay, do you remember when we told you that wasn't going to happen? So
yeah, right.
That's what we'll get into then. Marcus Foligno, the Superman punch is back. I thought this was sick.
Yeah.
Was Kevin Bieksa one of the first ones to do this?
I think I don't know if he was the first, but he's the one who did it multiple times and kind of made it his own.
Yeah, and I think Brendan Smith tried it a couple times. I don't know if that was really a part of his tool belt, his skill set, but you love to see this. I mean, I've been seeing some pretty decent fights. Freddie got his ass kicked today, huh?
Oh, you mean the fight where he didn't have it? The other guy had his gloves off before Freddie knew
it looked bad. It like he got fed, but he stayed in there and he stayed up, which was tough as shit. But he took 4 uppercuts pretty quick.
He has to learn that. Went to the helmet, but it was a clean check. And then what's his face? 11.5 Carlson comes over and throws like this punch as he's looking like who's behind me and hits Frederick when Frederick wasn't looking. Frederick looked over at Carlson, and by that point, what's his name? Simpson, right?
Yeah.
By that point, Simpson already had his gloves off. When Freddie turned around, he still had a stick in his hand.
Yeah,
garbage.
But he's got to learn that because this isn't the first time it's happened to him. Do you remember when he fought Brendan Lemieux off the drop?
Yeah.
I mean, he got jumped, but like he's got to learn to press that eject button. Like get after it.
The Bruins are honorable fighters. There's none of this running around stuff.
The Bruins are so honorable for sure.
Actually, I just watched because you were telling me about what do you call them, the 30 for 30s? They have the shorts in there.
Yeah.
I just watched one about Gary Winsick the other night. It was awesome.
Oh, no shit.
He skated over to the Minnesota North Stars bench and waved them on, and no one got off the bench back in like the 70s. You should watch it.
I'll have to check that out. What's it
called?
A
huge afro. I think it's called Our Tough Guy. It's only like 20 minutes.
Perfect. That's how long isn't that kind of cool? That's how long the Lundqvist one was too. They're just like these little short things that are like pretty good.
So I have one for you. I know we're getting sidetracked, but I have one for you to watch, and I won't tell you anything about it, but it's called The Curious Life, The Curious something. Sid Finch. You ever hear of Sid Finch, the baseball pitcher?
No.
All right. Look this up. He played for the Mets. This guy was out there. He was I think he lived in Tibet. He pitched with one work boot, one barefoot, and they said he touched 168 in his pitches. Dude, it's an insane story.
168 what?
Miles per hour.
No, he did not.
Dude, watch this documentary, and then we'll talk about it next week.
168 miles an hour?
They said he touched it. Yeah, for the Mets.
No way, man.
Watch this documentary.
How big was this fucking guy?
He was like real lanky. It was something about he achieved some type of nirvana between mind over matter and a different plane because he lived with Tibetan monks and stuff. It's crazy. It happened in like it was in the Doc Gooden era. It was like 1984, 85.
No shit. Doc Gooden, he was dominant, man.
Watch this short and we can talk about it next week.
Okay. That's my homework. I'm
good
with that. The Seattle barn, the Climate Pledge Arena, what do they call it? The Crack House. They had the first game. Levy and Ray Ferraro announced it. You just wrote down a couple notes. I fucking love this shit. 50 feet below ground level. Wait, so the rink's in the ground?
So what they did, there was this old building, whatever the arena was that I think soccer or basketball or something played, and they wanted to keep the roof. So they put in these pillars to support the roof, and they dug down. It's actually 60 foot. I had it wrong. They dug down 60 feet, so it's below grade, which helps with air conditioning and everything else.
Smart.
So when you look at the building, it looks like a one-story house.
That's pretty fucking cool.
And it's probably loud as hell down in there.
Well, they said for the first goal, people were talking how you couldn't hear the goal horn, and people were saying it's because the crowd was so loud.
Yeah. Was it Vince Dunn, right?
Yeah. Vince Dunn.
Bar in. Yeah, it was a nice goal. Like I was fighting to stay awake, and I'm like, if I could just make it through the first period, and I saw that score, and I was like, all right, now I'm going to bed.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, the zero carbon footprints, the first arena in the world. Yep. Living wall plants, 3-sided hanging video boards, and they have their ice made from collected rainwater.
Yeah, it's crazy. It shows you how the technology is there, and it's an expensive process. But going forward, they're zero carbon footprint certified, the only arena in the world. They have that living wall of native plants, which adds oxygen to that area, and the overall helps filter everything. The players' entrance where they walk in is a wall full of It's supposed to be like underwater, and it's like bubbles, and there's the red eyes of the Kraken and stuff.
That's sick. Their locker room looked really cool.
Oh, well, the craziest thing is the players didn't see it until Saturday morning.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, so the players had no idea, like, if how these boards bounce, where the dasher's stiff, where it's soft, none of that stuff.
Right. And I also saw that the Kraken retired the jersey number 32.
Yeah.
People were like mad about that.
Who was?
I just saw people online saying it was stupid and shit. It might be a
You
little bit stupid.
You could tell people that you could tell people that you're going to give away $100 every day at high noon on the corner of 5th and Madison, and there'll be someone mad that it's not 200. You know what I mean? People just get mad to be mad. Mm-hmm. It was just a tribute to the 32nd team and the fact that they sold 32 seat licensings like immediately. And honestly, 32 is a dusty number for hockey. Who is 32?
Yeah, I saw somebody say, I wonder if this is ever going to go into a person's mind when trying to sign their goalies are superstitious about their numbers. I'm like, bro.
Who's wearing 32?
One, who's wearing 32, and number two, you're telling me a guy's not going to sign a contract for $8 million because he won't wear a number?
Right, exactly.
Okay, bud. I would do some weird shit for $8 million. I do some weird shit for that $50K that fucking what's his name put up on the board?
Oh yeah, for sure. One thing I did see is that I don't know if this is true because I saw it right before we were going to record. They were blacked out locally though, which is a tough fucking bid.
The hockey needs to fix this shit because it happens in Colorado.
Look at Colorado still. You can't watch. Dude, there's hoops I have to jump here in Boston because Nesson is no longer on YouTube TV. It's only available on Fubo if you want to cut. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid, dude. Just let us watch hockey, man. It's not that hard.
Yeah, make it easier, not harder.
You would think. Team Finland, they still want Tuukka Rask?
Yeah, that's what they said. That was in my Bruins stuff, but yeah, that was the report.
All right, we'll get into it when we do Bruins. We'll get into it. I'm just going down the list. We have the goal song we talked about.
Yep.
Detroit coaching staff. Lucas Raymond scored a hat trick tonight, dude.
Yeah. All right. So Lucas Raymond is one of 3 guys to score 4 points or more in a game at age 19 or younger. You know who the other 2 are?
Who?
With 3 for Detroit. Sorry, Stevie Y and Gordie Howe. I mean, come on.
Pretty good company.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of a deep dive one night. Was it Maz, right? Who writes for us about Detroit?
Yeah. Yep.
So with all his stuff he was writing, I don't know what it was. I started watching him. So shout out Maz. You convinced one more person to watch Detroit.
I'm in on Detroit.
Even though I'm hate watching him, but whatever. I started doing like a little bit of research on the team. So we know there's Yzerman, who's the Yzer plan, right?
Yeah.
His assistant GM is Pat Verbeek.
Oh, Pat Verbeek, hell of a player.
Yeah. Wait, I gotta keep going here. So European player development, Nicholas Cronwall.
Okay.
Right?
Another legend.
Assistant player development in America, Dan Cleary.
Hard fucking working dude.
All these guys are hardworking, borderline dirty players. Doug Huda is the assistant coach.
Okay.
He was a coach for the Bruins. He topped 165 PIMs in 54 games with the Los Angeles Kings.
No shit.
Yeah. And then the last one who's assistant coach is Alex Tanguay. He might have been one of the biggest pain in the asses to play against in the
very underrated player.
Yeah. So that's who they got working there. So no wonder they're playing like they are.
Yeah, no, it's fun to see and it's good for hockey, right? Like what's weird about Detroit, man, is remember when they were really good? I feel like nobody really hated them. And then the Penguins got really good and everybody hated the Penguins. And the Blackhawks got really good and everybody hated the Blackhawks. And the Bruins got good and everybody hated the Bruins. Like they were one of the one dynasties that unless you were a Colorado Avalanche fan,
right,
you weren't ever really that pissed off with them.
Well, they had a lot of lovable guys. They had Yzerman, you had Shanahan, you go back, you got Darren McCarty. They had character guys,
Draper, Maltby.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I just think it's really nice to see. So shout out Maz. Keep up the good work there. I think absolutely another blog. And the Worcester Railers, ECHL, had a $5 raffle winner. They get to go up against Joey Chestnut at center ice. Most table talk pies, and if you beat him, you get $1,000.
So the Worcester, before you're gonna get ragged.
I thought it was Worcester.
No, it's Worcester. Worcester is how you pronounce it. The Worcester Railers, who are the New York Islanders ECHL affiliate, they're like, you have Boston and then Worcester's mid-mass and then Springfield's way over. And Worcester's like a B city size-wise, Yep. But they have it used to be the Centrum. I forget what the DCU Center, I think they call it now. It's a great little rink. Like the NCAAs used to be there. It's great to go watch games. There's great sight lines, not a bad seat in the house. And they have this thing with Table Talk Pies, who's a Worcester institution. They've been there since like the 20s, I think, if not earlier. And they're these little pies, like, I don't know, 6-inch or 8-inch. I don't know how it works, but it's all different flavors. And $5 raffle ticket. If you win the raffle, you get to go at center ice in between periods and go up against Joey Chestnut for $1,000. That's
honestly the coolest ECHL intermission thing I've ever seen.
It's fantastic. That'll keep everybody in their seats.
100%. 100%. Like, I mean, I don't even like pie, but just I would love to compete against Joey Chestnut.
I like pie.
I'm not a pie guy. I'm more of an ice cream guy.
Oh, fair
enough. That was our NHL in the news. Now we're going to kind of get into a little bit of Rangers talk. Guys, the boys are buzzing. They've played 6 games so far this year, and they've gotten points in 5 of them. They beat Toronto 2-1 in overtime. I'm going to kind of go over each one of the games that they played. So I remember when Igor Shesterkin was supposed to come over, his numbers were really good in the KHL, but he also played on like one of the better teams over there. So like you thought he was good. You weren't 100% positive. And I think a lot of it also had to do with the fact that the Islanders Russian goalie, like him and the Islanders Russian goalie seemed to split time for whatever, like Russian World Junior team or whatever. And like, anyway, he was supposed to be really good. And like, he's played well since he's gone to the NHL, but that game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, like Igor Shesterkin's here. Yeah. And if he stays healthy, he stole that game. It's been so long since I've watched a Rangers goalie steal a game. Or at least
they're saying that was his like his notice to the entire NHL that he was here.
It was insane. Like the shit that he was doing, challenging Tavares, like it was just it was really, really good to see. I mean, as a Rangers fan, like I always say, is if Igor goes, the boys go. Panarin won off of one faceoff by the Rangers, wasn't clean, but he ended up scoring in overtime. They were 13 for 54 on faceoffs that game. And they had just brought in a retired ref to help them with faceoffs. So, like, clearly that's not fucking working. I know a couple years ago they brought in Brad Richards. Like, I watched Mika Zibanejad take a faceoff against the Senators. What was it, yesterday? Didn't even look like he was trying. It's like, bro, you're getting paid $8 million a year. Like, fucking compete. Especially faceoffs. That's like one-on-one who has a bigger dick. Like, that's how I would look at it. Center ice, it's me versus you, and I better fucking win.
If you can't beat the guy and you're getting smoked all game, like we talked about at beer league, just chop his stick.
Yeah, or just fucking switch it up, do something different. It's clearly not working. I don't understand that. I got to go to the Predators game. It was sick.
Oh yeah.
We got there early. The girlfriend got me tickets for my birthday. We got there early. Went to grab beers. 2 guys who work for the Predators came up to me. They had like their lanyards on and they're like, "Hey, try this on." They like hand me a hat and I'm like, "Am I getting punked?" Because I had a Ranger jersey on. I'm like, "Am I going to be up on the big screen?" They're like, "No, just try it on." I put it on. He's like, "Okay, it looks good on you. You can keep it."
What was the hat?
It's fucking sick. It's like a camouflage New York Rangers like support the troops like Adidas hat. It's fucking nasty. So before I even got in my seats, I have a free hat. I'm like, this is great. Go to get my seats. The seats were unbelievable. We were in the 100s, section A. It was fucking unreal. For warm-ups, we went down to the Rangers end. Barclay Goodrow flipped my girlfriend a puck. There was this one girl who went to college.
Wait. Did you check it? Was there a phone number like I said?
No, there wasn't a phone number. There was this one girl. She drove from Alabama to go to this game because she's a huge Rangers fan. She's from New York City, so her mom flew down. Her and her mom went to the game. She had a sign that pretty much said, like, "I love you, Ryan Lindgren." So during warm-ups is kind of wrapping up, and, like, Lindgren's in front of me. I'm, like, fucking pounding on the thing. He, like, turns around, and I kind of go like this, and he, like, looks down at the sign. He skates over, and he takes a selfie with her.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was fucking so cool. And what was awesome about it is the boys got a kick out of it because everybody kept going up to Lindgren, like, kind of, like, teasing him because I'm sure that probably doesn't happen every day to that guy.
Right.
So that was fucking cool.
What about the video?
I got so drunk, dude. I was in one, and every time the Rangers would score, I was that asshole Rangers fan stand up down the aisles. It was almost like a home game. There were so many Rangers fans there. So of course the Rangers score. Lindgren scores. I'm going ape shit. I'm acting like a dickhead, and then about 20 seconds later, you hear the play is under review. And I'm like, oh, no way. Well, that goal got called back. So now I'm sitting in my fucking seat. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. My girlfriend's like, you can't do that anymore. I'm like, but thank God the boys buzzed and they ended up winning. Sammy Blais is going to be an impact player for the Rangers, which is
he's got to stay healthy. That's what we said, remember?
He's been incredible. Ryan Reeves has been a forechecking guru. Dryden Hunt's looked really good, and they've won the last few games without Capo Caco and Ryan Strome. So it's nice to see. There definitely are some alarming things, but Adam Fox is. It's so cool to watch him play because like physically you look at him and you're like, that guy. And then the shit he does, it's like, holy fuck. So the Predators game is cool. And then yesterday, man, 54 minutes of the most boring hockey I've ever watched in my entire life. And the Rangers took on the Senators. And then Sammy Blais, big hit on Ryan Paul. They end up getting in a fight. Trouba hits somebody over into the bench, and then they get one. Kreider backdoor, and the goalie got hurt on the play. So Murray had to leave. They brought in their other goalie. And they scored another. Who's had the second one? Kreider had the first one. Fuck. I'm going to have to think about it. I know Gaudreau had the game winner off of a tip, which was really, really good to see. So Senators fans were super pissed about it because there were some like questionable calls, but I think it was going both ways. However, there was a stretch of like 40 seconds when the Rangers had like 6 guys on the ice that just never got called. No idea how that happened.
Hey, it's early in the season for the refs too.
Bad. But again, the Rangers, I mean, collecting that many points this early in the year, that's good. That's a fucking really, really good thing to have. And they're doing it. And they're talking about how they have this no quit attitude and how like the boys seem like they're closer and a little bit like they're having fun this year. So, and they're not even playing that well. Like Panarin's not playing that well. Mika Zibanejad isn't playing that well. Chris Kreider continues to score. Maybe he does that for the whole year. We'll see. But
what was the fight he got in the other night?
Kreider?
Yeah, didn't Kreider tackle somebody and try to rip their helmet off? What was that?
Brady Tkachuk went at Kreider.
Oh, is that what it was? All right. Okay.
Yeah, at the end of the game, like 10 seconds left, Kreider fucking buried somebody. Like, it was dirty as fuck.
Yeah.
And Brady Tkachuk went up to him and, like, kind of just ragdolled him down the ice. But
that's right.
Sammy Blais got in a fight. I don't know. They battle, man. That's the biggest difference. And Patrick Nemeth, nobody talks about him, but he's been fucking a stud since he's been here. And it seems like the Lundqvist kid's getting a little bit more time. I like the fact the Rangers were down in that Senators game with like 8 minutes left, and Gallant put Fox and Lundqvist out there, which I thought was kind of cool to get a little bit more offense. I'm sure that probably pumped his tires up a little bit, but all in all, a great week of hockey. They got a couple games this week coming up, so we'll see.
Yeah, they're fun. I've enjoyed them. I've watched them a few different times. I really do like that ESPN thing where you can listen to the Rangers home as opposed to the opponent. That's
fucking sick.
That was one of those things that someone was like, what if we do both feeds? And I bet you in the room, a couple of people like, that's a dumb idea. And some guy somewhere, some woman, and that's like one of the best features for me.
It's fucking, dude, it's pretty cool. And when we were at the Preds game, Sam and Joe, who do the who like call the game or whatever, they showed up and we looked up and we saw him, and Joe Micheletti points down at all of us, and like, dude, there were so many Rangers fans there. Like, it was fucking loud when he did that. And then Sam Rosen came in 5 minutes later, and like Sam was like pointing at people and like pumping them up and shit. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, fucking I couldn't be happier with the Rangers right now. What do you have on the bees?
Bruins 3-1. They had a off night in Philly. Off night. They looked great today for what, 2.5 periods, and then they let San Jose hanging around, and then they ended up getting the W. But they look really good. I mean, they won 3 of 4. They got Swayman has the only loss. Linus, it's not Linus, it's Linus Ullmark. Won the last 2. Today, he had one goal that he probably would have liked back. He was a little off the post, short side, but the other 2 that were scored him, one was going wide. It got tipped back about 6 or 8 feet. It was crazy. Yeah. He didn't have a chance. And then the other one was a definite high stick, and clearly the NHL doesn't watch the Nesson feed because I could very clearly see it was too high.
Oh,
clear from my couch. I don't know why they couldn't get the right angle at the rink, but yeah, I think Swayman and the team just had an off night in Philly. I think it was his first time in his entire 12 starts that he's let in more than 3 goals. The erection line is buzzing.
Oh yeah,
they are. I mean, today, if you go look at the blog I wrote, because I put up all their goals, dude, tick, 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 triangle, tick, 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 triangle. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, speaking of the erection line.
Oh, you got him.
I got a box of the pasta.
No shit.
Yeah.
Are you gonna eat it?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if it's bad, I'll give it to the chickens or the dog, depending on how bad it is. You know, I mean, it's pasta. How bad? It's dried pasta. How bad can it be? That's 88 cents. I rounded it up to $1 because I'm a man of the people, and that went to charity. So, but here's the thing: we talked about Krejci and stuff not being here, and the issues that they may have with centers.
Yep.
So today, Foligno's out and Craig Smith are both out.
Ooh.
So they're just day-to-day injury, upper body, both of them. I mean, it could be concussions, by the way they say upper body. But what they did is they slid Coyle over to the wing, and they put Nosek on the second line at center with Hall and Coyle. Mm-hmm. Then they put Haula on the third line with DeBrusque, and they pulled up Oscar Steen from Providence because, it's only an hour away. And then the third line, they brought Studnicka up, and they put Freddie on the wing, and they had Carson Kuhlman still there.
Okay.
So they have these guys, Coyle, Frederick, Nosek, Haula, all can play wing or center, which is huge.
Yeah.
And they can all go up and down the lineup, and that's still with Lazar, who's still out. Curtis Lazar is still not back.
And he buzzes.
Oh, yeah, he's great. He can play fourth or third. And I thought Studnicka looked good. He's much more comfortable at center than he is at wing. So hopefully he'll get some more. It's just that he doesn't have to clear waivers. So that's that's why they can keep sending him down.
And he didn't flee to Russia like the Rangers prospects did?
No. That's why you got to draft American, buddy. Yeah. McAvoy and Grzelcyk, they've been pairing them, and they are just becoming more and more comfortable together. I think it's the familiarity they have in college. I think both of them starting to take a little more chances. They're playing really well, which then they can throw out Carlo and Forbort together for the shutdown on the PK. And having John Moore healthy, Connor Clifton had a scratch the other night, so John Moore can get in. John Moore played fine. I mean, it was perfect 6 or 7 defenseman, but Cliffy had his best game of the year today after getting scratched, and that's what it's meant to do.
What you like to see, and that guy never shuts the fuck up.
Clifton?
Never.
Oh, between him and Frederick, the entire San Jose team was just chasing them around today during the game. The two of them. It's perfect.
I think Hal was actually at the game today.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he said he might be going.
Yeah. So
good for him.
Yeah. But it's nice to see both of
us coming up. They got the Panthers on Wednesday. That's probably their biggest test.
I'll watch that. That'll be a good game.
That's
a must-watch game, I think.
Yeah, I would say so.
I'll give you that. But...
And then we were talking about Tuukka. Finland apparently came out and said that Tuukka is very much in their plans for the Olympics.
I mean, what other Finnish goalies are there?
I don't know. I feel like anyone in Finland can play goalie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Is that what they do?
Is that what they do? But, I mean, that's good for a Bruins fan, right? Because at least that means that he's going to be skating and shit. So
yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, like Tuukka said, it's $250,000 and all the Bud Light he can drink. That was his ass from Don Sweeney.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, not bad at all.
No. Beer league this week. I don't really have much to talk about. I had an off week, so it kind of sucked, to be completely honest. But we have our second game coming up on Halloween at like 7:00. But Halloween's on a Sunday, so I'm not that pissed about it.
Oh.
But
you don't want to deny your ringer status after your 10 points you put up the other night?
That's not a ringer status, man. That's the team that I'm on.
Come on.
That's the team I'm on. I'm on this team. That was the first game of the year. And thank you for bringing that up. I did put up a 10 spot the other night. I told you I was feeling good.
You texted me like I scored 10. I was like, wait, what? It's still adamant that you're not a ringer.
I'm not a ringer. I'm on this team. I'm a rostered player in this league. And to like, we had 6 players. The other team had 7. And we just had the puck the whole time. So
clearly you guys obviously got up and then let off the gas, it seemed like, based on that stat line.
A little bit. I don't know, man. Like, there's definitely a time where you would be like kind of an asshole by doing that, but it wasn't like, I don't think it was malicious. Like, I wasn't like fucking screaming at him when it would go in. And most I had.
Were you riding your stick past the bench? And stuff?
I had 3 and 7, so a lot of mine were just assists. playmaker, dude. I've got Zuccarello brought it in me, but what do you have on your beer league update?
Well, the night you scored 10, I was a -1 in a loss, so really tough look for Brownie. No, I'm just still learning the team. I've never had this happen. We had 3 lines and 7 defensemen.
3 lines and 7 defensemen. Wow.
So they numbered the D 1 through 7, and they went out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7, 1, 2, 3, like that. That's how they did it.
Dude, that's insane.
Dude, I'm like, I'm trying to do math at hockey. I'm like, what the? Who am I out with?
I've never we've had it where we have 7 forwards and 4 D. They don't even want a 5th D, and
Right.
it'd be way easier where you could just have 2 lines. I think you need more even lines of forward than you need even lines of defensemen, personally. But I also don't play defense.
Well, I think it's a lot easier to have a guy rotate through the forward lines.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I would rather have 2 solid lines and then just roll 5D. But
yeah, that's fine. But all right, so how would you have fixed that if you had what's that? 3, 9, 10. You had 16 players. What would you do?
You had 16 players,
not counting the goalie.
So it'd be 9 and 7 or 10 and 6. I mean, dude, I know defensemen are crazy. I'm surprised that they didn't push for 12 and 4. Defensemen are like,
I don't know. I know one guy on this team. I was brought in, so I was just like, "Yep, whatever you want me to do, buddy."
How was it? Was it like frustrating as shit having like 2 shifts?
No, they're all really good guys, and with that many D, I was playing D, so I would just go out there and just bust ass for 2 minutes and get off. I was thinking everybody started taking long shifts, and I was like, "All right, well, if you guys are going to do it, I'm going to do it."
Yeah.
And then, we're down, and I'm waving back during like a minute and a half left to pull the goalie, and they're all like waving back. I'm like, no, I'm not waving high. Get off the ice, So, yeah, I'll slowly stay stuff, but I'm just keeping quiet, skate my lane. Just the kid took a shot from the point, and it bounced like 3 times and went in. I was like, did I just get a -1 because of that? It's a tough look, but.
It is. How many games did you play this week? 1, 2, 3?
Just one. I tweaked my back at work, so I didn't play the other night. But I have, I was carrying too heavy of a ladder, and I kind of twisted. So I got a game tomorrow night and then Wednesday night.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll definitely fucking catch back up with you and see what's going to be going on there. What leagues are these? Are these the B and the C, or the C, the D, the B?
I have the B and the D this week. The C league. The captain texted me. He texted me. He's like, "You playing tonight?" I'm like, "Playing what?" He's like, "We have our first game tonight." I'm like, "I'm not playing. I have a game." I'm like,
"Yeah,
sorry." And he's like, "Well, you playing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm really digging the part-time for these teams." And then it's been radio silence. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll be like, "You fucking asshole, you got to do it." So we'll see what happens.
All right.
Hey, she greenlit 3 nights, so I'll be playing 3 nights.
Yeah, you got to go 3 nights.
Yeah.
That was our beer league. Now we're going to get into our Dominic Moore's Heroes and Zeros.
Hey fans, this is Dominic Moore. I'm just going to take you guys through a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff here.
All right, hero and zero time. I'm going to go with my 0. We talked about making hockey easier to watch. I rush home after work on, I think it was Wednesday, because the Rangers were playing the Leafs. And I get here and I go to turn the game on ESPN Plus. It's not on ESPN Plus because it was on NHL Network, so it was blacked out.
What?
Yeah, so I had to watch it on my computer, like on Reddit.
Huh.
I was so fucking
I thought
mad.
the NHL Network wasn't carrying games that weren't solo.
I don't know, man. That's what I was told. I was fucking so pissed about it, though. I'm like, I thought ESPN was Plus supposed to have every fucking game. What is this? But that for sure is my 0. I got to watch it anyway, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, man. Like, I'm paying money for a service. I kind of want it to work.
Did you see Bucci Gross put out that tweet that he moved home?
Yeah,
to help his parents figure out ESPN Plus. I thought that was great.
Bucci's cool, man.
Didn't he do the Kraken game with Ferraro?
Yeah. Yes.
And they were talking about the chicken parm, he's like top shelf chicken parm before the game. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I'm a big chicken parm guy myself too.
I had chicken parm tonight.
And then my hero of the week. Last night I went to a bar with a couple of my buddies who got pretty buckled, and then the rink in town has a bar there, so we Ubered to the rink bar. I have no idea why. And we watched like the hockey game that was going on, and we talked to these hockey moms about what it was like to be a hockey mom. And I guess they're my hero of the week, dude. I mean, they were so happy to be there. You're hearing all sorts of stories. Like the one lady, her daughter was playing, and she used to play, and they were from Michigan, and they had snowmobiles, and this and this and this and that, and how Nashville's different. it was just pretty cool. But yeah, I think that shout out to the youth hockey moms of the Nashville area.
And you're going to be coaching, right?
Yeah. So that I have another update on that. I think I have to get my level 1 certification, so I have to figure out how to do that. But when that's done,
You have to go through a Corey check too, most likely.
I don't know what that is. A what check?
Corey for sexual predators.
Oh no, I'll be good. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But those are my heroes and zeros. Brian, what do you got for me?
So my 0 of the week, I'm sorry, Fink, but my 0 is Yanni Hakanpää for that fucking knee-to-knee hit he put on
Drew Doughty,
Canadiens' national treasure, Drew Doughty.
Yeah.
That was so dirty. There's no explanation. And Doughty was motivated this year. He wants to be on the Olympic team. He's been reading all the press about doubting him. He was probably going to be in the running for Norris, I bet, by the end of the year. That's how motivated this guy was.
He's just a complete player, dude.
And if this fucking guy wrecks his season or his career, just a fucking shame. So that guy's my 0.
Yeah, you Boston fans probably aren't too keen on knee hits, right?
No. Do you know that Neely and Ulf Samuelsson have the same agent?
No, I didn't know that.
So they have the same agent, and he would schedule them never to be in the same building at the same time because he was afraid Neely would just start throwing hammers.
Do you think if they saw each other today, it'd still be the same way?
I don't know how good a shape Ulf's in, but I think that would determine it.
Yeah.
Neely's got a bit of a gut now, he's not skating or anything. But if he and Neely's very careful, like he doesn't do a lot of interviews where they try to goad him into losing his temper. But you saw him throw the water bottle in the playoffs and stuff, up in the suite.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, but Neely got to get him a little bit. I mean, Ulf would get the Boston flu every time he had to play here. And then Neely finally got him once. And Ulf turtled, and Neely just picked him up and was throwing haymakers.
So is Ulf Samuelsson, what team is Ulf Samuelsson, when people think his name, what team do you think pops up?
Pittsburgh.
So he was on the Rangers for a bit.
No, I know that.
I thought he was great. I loved the way he played.
I got a buddy who's a Pens fan. I have a buddy who's a Pens fan, and he loves them. One time we were going to a Bruins Pens game, and he's like, should I wear my Samuelsson shirt? I'm like, no. I'm going to have to back you up when you get jumped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Chris Patterson, CP, my boy.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, no. I wouldn't be surprised if Neely went at him.
All right.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the guy ruined his career.
Yeah.
Or shortened it. Didn't ruin it. Shortened it.
Yeah.
My hero for the day or week is I couldn't think of anybody, so my hero is me because this is what I do for this blog podcast.
By the way, shout out to you for taking a page out of my book.
Yeah, thank you. I only did this because you've done it in the past. I would have never done it.
Okay.
I had to sacrifice my day and watch not one but 2 hockey games today and write blogs about the Bruins and Northeastern Women's and then do a podcast. So that's quite a lot for a Sunday.
That's a heavy fucking day, dude.
Yeah. And I actually worked this morning for like 4 hours getting some little jobs done around the area. So,
good for you, man.
Yeah,
did you have fun?
Yeah, dude. I
love hockey, man.
I work for myself and I love hockey, so it's not a bad day.
Hell yeah. Well, I love to hear that for you. And us at the Morning State, we thank you. Shout out to our Oilers writer, Henry Wright, who's absolutely crushing the blog game right now. I don't know if you've seen how many views his blogs are getting and shit, but all Morning Skate bloggers, if you're listening, you start crushing it the way Henry Wright is with these fucking Oilers blogs. I think it's because, one, he's a good writer, and two, he puts them in these Facebook groups, and people who are on Facebook love Facebook, and they fucking live for that shit. So, again, writers,
listen, and as another aside, as someone who does blog and has to stomach going on the Facebook to post these, Facebook is rife with morons. Just don't read the comments. Just post it and keep moving because there was a guy today on one of the things that I posted a blog in and he was complaining that they didn't start Swayman and went with Ullmark because he let in 2 late goals. I'm like, they won, you donkey. And if you had watched the game, you know that he had no chance on 2 out of 3 goals. So
and one didn't count because Brownie said so on the Nest.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
But shout out to everybody. We might end up having our best month to date These next 7 days are going to be quite the push, but I think we can get it done. So I'm pumped about that. So thank you for everybody who's blogging and helping out the morning skate. You guys are awesome. Now we are going to get into our last segment, 3 stars.
All right, Jim and Mike, thanks very kindly. A nice weekend for you. As always, our 3-star selectors are stars of the hockey scene wherever we go in Rogers Hometown Hockey.
All right, 3 stars of the week. We're going to do a favorite fruit.
Yeah, but like put it in context, right? So I was out yesterday and I stopped at or the day before work, and I stopped at this little local farm stand that we have here in New England. You know, like some guys trying to make a living as a farmer, and they have this little stand up. And I stopped to grab some fruit. And I said to Ked when we started recording, I'm like, listen, if we're ever out of 3 stars, we can do favorite fruit. And he goes, great, let's do it tonight.
So we're doing favorite fruit. That's what we're going to do. And then, dude, I don't think I could create a more New England person than you. I don't think. Just went to this fucking fruit stand, gave this guy a 5, and told him the Nesson feed had the fucking goal and this and that, dude. It's poetic, really. But
yeah, you gotta, hey, listen, local farms, you gotta support them. No farms, no food.
True.
Yeah. So.
My 3rd star, I'm gonna go oranges. I just love the taste of fucking oranges. I don't know why they're my 3rd star, because I mean it's actually quite simple. Eating them, your hands get all sticky and shit, and I fucking can't stand that. If that wasn't an issue with an orange, it'd probably be my number 1 star. But okay. I don't know. And also my favorite smoothies, an Orange Julius. I don't know if you know what Orange Julius is, but those things are fucking good. But
probably has no oranges in it, but sure.
Yeah, that's fine. The only orange in it's in its name.
My 3rd star is in that same realm, but as you're going very general with orange, I'm going to go super specific. Sumo Mandarin.
What the hell is even that?
Sumo Mandarin is a type of, I believe it's an orange. What's like an orange, but not an orange?
A clementine?
Maybe, but it's like a hybrid. These things are about as big as my fist. They have a little knob on the end. They're like loose on the skin, and you can literally break off the knob and peel the whole thing in one thing like that.
Oh, that's peeling an orange sucks.
My daughter thinks it's the greatest thing because I always do it in one, and then I give it to her, and I'm like, look what Dad did. And
have you ever peeled an orange and you can't get it all off?
Yeah, it's the worst.
And then you're fucking picking
then you're
on it
like a little kid playing soccer. Yeah. But Sumo Mandarins, they're super sweet, very flavorful, very juicy. Yeah, big fan. They're my number 3rd star.
I'll have to check those bad boys out. My 2nd star, it's actually a newfound love for these. I love raspberries. Dude, if I'm watching hockey, like snacking wise, I fucking snack on raspberries all the time.
Fresh or dried?
Fresh.
Have you ever had dried raspberries?
I don't think so.
You have Trader Joe's down there?
We might, man. I go to all these.
Well, if you go in there, they have dried like blueberries, raspberries. You mix them in with like a snack mix, like a trail mix type of thing.
Yeah.
Real good. Yeah.
I'll have to check those out. Let's check those out. Number 2 star raspberries. What do you got for number 2?
My number 2 star is the Honey Crisp apple. This is what I got at that farm stand, and they were as big as fucking softballs.
What color are they?
They are red and green mixed.
Okay.
They are super sweet. I like sweet fruit. They're super crispy, crunchy, very sweet. I don't know how they are for baking or anything. You want to talk about a typical New England day? Next Saturday, I'm going over this guy's house. What
are you guys doing? You doing some chowder and
No, I was over there the other day. This guy's the fucking berries. He's a locksmith by trade. He has this sick garage with a peaked ceiling. It's all hung with plywood. He's got all kinds of cool tools. He's got a fire pit. We're just out there hanging out the other day talking. And he goes, what are you doing next Saturday? I'm like, I don't know. It's a week away, man. And he goes, well, why don't you come over? I hooked up this washing machine motor to an old sink, and he puts apples down, fires up the motor, and it comes out applesauce and cider in 2 different spigots. So you're going to
have to take a picture of that.
I will. So we're doing that next Saturday. The kids will be all running around. The wives will be ripping beers, fire. That's next Saturday.
Oh, that's perfect, dude.
So I don't know how these apples translate to that, but the Honey Crisp apple, if you get a chance to have one, Honey Crisp is by far and away the best apple on the market.
Are you gonna go freaking hammer a tree and get maple syrup on Sunday, or is that
No.
Fucking New England people are the best, dude. Because
we are going up
salt to the earth and love being outside.
We are going up to Maine in a couple of weeks, and my wife said to me, she goes, "Oh, we should bring a chainsaw," and I'm like, "All right, why?" She goes, "Well, we can get a Christmas tree." I'm like, "Just randomly pull over and cut one down?" She goes, "No, we'll find a place where you can cut your own Christmas tree." I'm like, "I'm down for it. I'll bring the chainsaw."
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
That'll be dope. I think when I go home for Thanksgiving, me and my mom are gonna go get a Christmas tree and shit. That's like one of the best days of the year.
Oh yeah, my daughter loves it. My daughter spends 20 minutes picking out. No, it's crazy. 5 years old.
I used to sling Christmas trees at Elms Farm.
I did that for a while too. It was fun.
During the fall, they had like this train, and they called it the Pumpkin Express, and it was just like a big tractor that they put like a kit over to make it look like a train. So I drove that during the fall, and then when winter came, they put me in the luxury barn slinging like $300 trees and shit. It was so much fun. I miss doing that shit.
The trick about selling Christmas trees is when all the cars pull in, you take your jacket off and you tuck it away. So you're out there like, what can I help you with? I just came out to help. That way you get the extra cash tips.
Oh, yeah. And I just always have Christmas cheer, like even if it's July. And I think people fucking feed off that.
You're going to have a green Christmas. What are you going to do?
I don't know, dude. I'm going home for Christmas.
Yeah,
so I'll be home.
Season. You'll be in Nashville.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. God damn, I miss home.
It's an adjustment.
No, it is for sure. And then my number one star, I love bananas, dude. Like I can fucking hammer it. Banana cream pie, all time fucking pie, easily.
Again, don't know if that's a banana, but okay.
So fucking good, but I don't know. That's the thing. Every once in a while, toke a little bit, eat a banana for some reason. It's the best thing on the entire world. So
no cramps.
No, it's fucking dude. Just something about it. I don't really know what it is, but that would be easy, and it's not even close. That's easily my number one star. And I brought this up before. If tomatoes are considered a fruit, tomatoes over everything. But I'm going with
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one.
That's like, is Pluto a planet? Is a tomato a fruit?
Fair.
Who gives a shit? But all right, what do you got for your first star?
My number one star, again, very specific, is the Sugar Kiss melon.
Sugar Kiss melon?
This melon is probably concocted in some lab somewhere. They're only available for they used to only be available for like 3 weeks of summer. They've extended the season. They're usually now like 5 or 6 weeks. Imagine, if you will, a honeydew crossed with a cantaloupe.
I like cantaloupe, dude.
So it's the orange flesh of a cantaloupe, but it's the sweetness of a honeydew. This thing literally tastes like liquid sugar.
Oh, that's all you need.
These things are so good. Dude, I'm such a loser. I love grocery shopping.
No, I like grocery shopping. I just don't like other people around me when I'm grocery shopping.
Fair enough. Yeah, I do the same. Like sometimes I won't even be listening to anything. I'll just have my headphones in. But I go to the grocery store, and I will literally, when these things are out, I will buy I'll go once a week to the grocery store, and I'll get like 3 or 4 of them for the week. That's how much I'll eat of these, and my daughter and my wife will eat them too. I have been in there, and I see people getting other melons, and I'm like, I have to turn them on to this because they don't know what they're missing. I'm like that commercial when they're like, "Don't be your dad at the grocery store," or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, I've literally talked to there was one day I was super high at the grocery store, and I was talking to some lady. By the time I left, I had told 6 or 7 different women about these melons, and they're all getting them. Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious. These are the best melons. If you ever get a chance to have one of these, you call them Sugar Kiss. They call them sweet honeydews, I think they call them. But it's a yellow skin with the orange flesh of a cantaloupe, and they are the best fruit on the planet, in my humble opinion.
Well, you let me know when they're out and about, and I'll have my head on a swivel.
You upstate New York, Wegmans, right?
No, not where I'm at. With Wegmans and Price
Chopper.
No,
but when you grew up in upstate New York, there were Wegmans up there, right?
No. So Wegmans and Price Chopper had a deal where Wegmans gets Western New York and Price Chopper gets Eastern New York.
Oh,
so Wegmans is out in Buffalo and Rochester, and I used to spend a lot of time out there. Wegmans was incredible.
Yeah, we have Wegmans here now.
Yeah, Wegmans is the next level. They have great subs. If you ever want a sub, go to Wegmans and order a sub there. They're fucking incredible, dude.
Pizzas are decent too.
Wegman. I think Wegmans is the elite grocery store.
Now we know our top 3 stars for a different time. Grocery stores.
Maybe next week we can do that.
We'll save that. Yeah,
we can figure that out. But all right, guys, that was episode 223 of the Morning Skate. Brownie, do you have anything else?
No. I'm looking forward to the season. Football is progressing. Baseball is dwindling rapidly, and hockey is ramping up nicely.
Oh, it's perfect, man. It is perfect. But all right, guys, we will talk to you next week.
Brownie. As always, God bless you, Jerome McGinley, wherever you are.
There it is. All right, see you guys next week.